everybody, we are in the studio today doing a live podcast recording, and we are super pumped that you're here with us, right, Lauren?
We are super pumped.
We're super pumped. I didn't say stoked. I could have said stoked. So
Sure.
we're going to double check, make sure the audio is working. Lauren, tell us what we're going to be talking about today on our podcast.
We are excited to talk about a topic that we're actually pretty passionate about, and that's why your CEO should be involved in your content marketing strategy.
Audio is working.
The audio is working. Awesome. So yeah, we're going to be diving deep into why that should be, how to get them involved, and then just the overall benefit for your CEO and for your audience.
Absolutely. So make sure as well, we are going to be answering, well, any question that you have. If it's on this topic, we can obviously answer that. But at the end of the episode, if you have a comment question, make sure you put it in the comments below because we will put those on screen. We got producer Jacob in the studio. There he is. He's out there. Give him a shout out, Jacob. You got a mic.
Yeah, what's up? They gave me a mic today. I'm going to do my best not to lose my privileges.
This is one shot. He's got one shot now. So I'm going to share this out real quick. Tell them, Lauren, where they can find more information about what we're doing. Actually, Rogue Creators .club is now up and running.
Is it really?
It is.
Yeah, so you can go to roguecreators.club to get more information and more fun resources. And my mom's calling me.
That's right. Hey, we got to call in. Mom, come on the show.
Mom's got a question.
Hey, Mom.
So check out our Facebook group. We just recently relaunched this group, and then we've had some really cool engagement and great resources in there of tools, tricks, and everything you need to know around content marketing. Also just encouragement as a creator. It can be kind of a lonely path, and we want to be able to partner with you in that.
Absolutely. So yeah, make sure that you guys, if you haven't already, we actually had an episode launched yesterday.
Yeah.
Which was really good stuff. What was our episode yesterday? I'm now trying to remember what it was.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
It was a really great episode. It's memorable too. It's about podcast guesting and getting your dream guest on your podcast.
That is true.
So we kind of talk through some resources and how best to research that.
Yep. I can't multitask apparently.
I know.
All right. But hey, thank you so much. So if you're watching right now, we have a few people watching. So make sure you drop in the comments. Let us know that you're here. But we're going to take you through a full episode, what it looks like. And hopefully we won't mess up. Last time we did this live, it was okay. But yeah, we don't know. We might.
Last time we didn't have audio.
That is true. That's all kinds of fun. But this time we have audio, and you guys will actually get to see what it's like to record in the studio. We kind of show you some behind the scenes with our wide shot. Throw up that wide shot there, Jacob. There it is. So you guys can see our setup and get a little look in behind the scenes. So, but again, if you have questions, drop those in the comments. I think I say that 20 times now.
It's okay. My mom had questions too.
She did.
Yeah.
Tell her to jump on the Facebook Live. Join our Facebook group, Rogue Creators. All right, here we go. Are you ready to go, Jacob? Awesome. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
Hey, I don't have to do the intro.
I know, it's great.
I could do it for our guests or
No,
for
that's
our, no? Okay. Yeah, actually, so we officially have our intro, so I'm off the hook for messing it up all the time. So, all right. Let's rock and roll. Phones on silence. We're good to go. Okay. Hey, we are back in the studio recording another awesome episode today, and I'm really excited about this. We're actually broadcasting this live on Facebook.
We are.
In our new Facebook group.
Yeah.
That's Lauren Lewis, by the way.
Hey, guys. We're talking about our Rogue Creators Facebook group.
We are. It's been on our plan for a long time, and finally got everything together. Ava, our content coordinator, she did a great job with setting everything up. We also started a group on LinkedIn as well. So if you're on LinkedIn, jump over there. And we're going to be basically promoting this community of rogue creators who are doing things differently in the content marketing space, whether you're a podcaster or a marketer, graphic designer, video creator, whatever it is. We want to make sure that we promote you and encourage you, give some feedback. We've got some really, really cool people in our group already, previous guests that we've had on our show as well. So if there are anything from our podcast that you want to ask questions about, I'm sure we can find that guest to follow up on that as well. So it's kind of just a place to all come together, judgment-free zone, test out ideas, talk about things. So really excited about it.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. So, but we are, like I said, we are doing a live podcast recording right now on Facebook. So we're actually broadcasting in the group as well. And so if you haven't already, jump over to roguecreators.club and you can get signed up on our Facebook group there.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
It's live and working.
It is.
Okay.
It's live. Roguecreators.club is up and going. I think it redirects to the blog, but
Okay, cool.
yeah. Anyway, so there's a reason I did that, by the way, because Clubhouse is now a big thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a full episode on Clubhouse because I'm so excited about it. But that was one of the tips. It's like get your domain.club, and it just makes it easy for people to remember
Very
and
true.
be able to. So
Very
anyway,
true.
hey, what are we gonna be talking about today, Lauren?
We're excited to talk about a topic that we're pretty passionate about, and it's why your CEO should be involved in your content marketing strategy. So really getting into kind of the leadership within your content marketing strategy, the overall benefit of that.
Yes. And the reason we do that, we work on thought leadership packages for a lot of our clients, and so we really hadn't talked about it a lot.
No, we really hadn't.
And so it is one of those things that is very important, especially for a business for really your audience to kind of see behind the scenes of who your CEO is, who your executives are, and what their vision is for the business, and it really helps create a connection. So we're excited to jump into all of that. But before we do,
we like to start each episode off with, what are you obsessed with this week? So Brian was very excited about this. So tell us, what are you excited about?
Okay. I'm super pumped.
Oh, wow.
Get excited, Lauren. I'm really excited about Ted Lasso. You know what Ted Lasso is? Jacob,
Sounds
you know what Ted Lasso is?
familiar.
Oh, Ted Lasso's amazing.
Ted Lasso it's on Apple Plus. It's Jason Sudeikis. He is a Southern football coach. I think college coach, right? He was a college football coach.
Yeah, I think it's at Wichita State.
Oh, goodness. So
the fact checker now
yeah,
on
no,
the mic.
He does reference that. Hey, this is good. No, this is good. So anyway, he gets recruited by Premier League in London to basically coach their football team over there, their soccer team.
Yes, you told me about this.
And I did not. When I went into it, I'd had several people say, "Hey, yeah, it's really funny." I was like, I don't understand how they're going to make this connection, because obviously they know he is an American football coach.
Yeah.
But his dad jokes are on point. Like, they do a great job of he's just like he's a lovable character. He's like super genuine and
Is it
kind,
like
and
serious sports?
it's a good, healthy mix. So it's a comedy, but there is a lot, there's layers to it.
Okay.
Definitely. And so, yeah, it's pretty awesome. We pretty much binged the whole season. I mean, it was that fast because it was just so good. And honestly, the way they ended, I don't know if they're going to are they doing a second season, Jacob? Do you know?
I assume so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it felt like they should be doing one.
That's when when you're going through, you're like, I can see this being a second season. But what they did was they really wrapped it all up right at the end in the most perfect way. I think it was one of the best endings of a show I've ever seen in my entire life. Everything connected.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Just watch it for the ending, y'all.
Dude, it's great. I mean, the whole thing throughout the whole, yeah, it's just great. So it's obviously a British type comedy too, so there's a lot of cussing. So and I say that it's
Such
not
a dad disclaimer.
I feel like I have
You
to
might hear a bad word.
if I make a recommendation, I want to put out there, like, don't watch it around the kids necessarily, because there are a lot of adult themes to it.
Yes.
But I feel like it's done in somewhat of a tasteful way.
Okay,
too.
cool.
So, but Jason Sudeikis, he's always been super hilarious and one of my favorite comedians. But man, he just this character alone put him over the top for me. I think he's phenomenal. So anyway,
awesome.
I told you I was excited.
You are excited.
I was like, man, I got to talk about this on our next podcast. So there it is.
There you go.
All right. What about you, Lauren?
All right. Well, I've actually talked to Jacob a little bit about this, but I am watching with my husband The Stand, which is a CBS miniseries based on the book by Stephen King.
Oh,
so it's kind of hard to watch. And the reason being is I'm sure they filmed it before. It is about a pandemic that has a 99% fatality rate.
Whoa.
So you're watching all these characters and it will like flashback to like 5 months earlier and when the pandemic started, and it's like people just dropping dead all around them.
Wow.
And so obviously us being in a pandemic, it's kind of hard to think if like the rates were flipped, right, with COVID, what this would be like. And you're just kind of seeing this. I mean, like there's one of the characters is walking through New York and like they're literally trying to get out because the rotting corpses are going to attract everything and they're trying to get away.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is very insane.
So it's not like a like there's some alien force coming and like all that.
Well,
it's just,
it's-
oh no spoilers.
No. This
Okay.
is not a spoiler. I didn't mean. So it's Stephen King. So
Yeah.
it can't just be simple.
Or
Yeah. And so it's got a supernatural element of some forces of good and forces of evil.
Okay.
So all these people are having connected dreams that survived. And so that they're coming to certain places, but some are good and some are bad. There's also glowing rocks. There's some interesting things going on in there.
Right.
Anyways, I at first I was like not into it at all because it was hard to watch because we are in a pandemic.
Yeah.
But after I was able to kind of get over that, and once you kind of enter some of the supernatural, it kind of took me out. Like, okay, this isn't happening to me. But it's been actually really good, and I think I like that. There's only 8 episodes. There will only ever be 8 episodes, so it's like,
I'm learning to appreciate that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, as much as you want the story to go on, this is a book that has an ending.
Yep.
And Stephen King had a particular role for this
Yep.
and everything. So it's been really good. They've done a good job of, you're kind of questioning everybody's motives because they're all having these different dreams and all this stuff. So anyways, I'm only through 3 episodes.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a little dark. It's a little dark for me, but for my husband's right up his alley.
Nice.
So.
I'm excited about that. That's good, actually. That's pretty cool. And there you go. There's some TV recommendations.
Always coming from us.
Always coming from us. All right. So we told you we are gonna put up comments and stuff at the end of the show, but Brandon is watching right now live with us. Can you show that comment on there, Jacob? Put it on the screen there. So Brandon says Lauren's low-key subtle jabs might be the secret sauce of this whole podcast.
Yes.
Brandon, you
That's what
are
I bring
so
as a
right, man.
co-host.
Oh, that is exactly right, my friend. That is exactly right. So yeah, sorry, I just saw that pop up and I was like, we have to talk about that. We love Brandon. Brandon, he's always giving us like helpful, like information,
Super
feedback on
helpful.
our podcast. And we appreciate that from anybody that obviously listens to the show weekly. And we really do try to obviously bring you guys value every single week. So let us know more about what you want to talk about. And if you want to make fun of me, that's totally fine too.
Great topic.
Lauren does it all the time. I'm used to it. I got thick skin. Kind of. All right. Hey, let's jump into this.
Yeah.
Right. Why should your CEO be involved in your marketing strategy? So kick us off, Lauren.
Yeah. So I found this great quote by Matt Zucker from Profit. Saying getting executives to buy into content marketing is an important step, and getting them to actively participate in your content as your company's thought leader is another. You need to put leadership into thought leadership content and look for those leaders whenever possible. And so really breaking it down, one of the things that for companies as they're trying to build a content marketing strategy, it's really important is to have your founder or CEO's buy-in. Just for them to understand the importance of that and also for them to want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Will help it just grow phenomenally because a lot of times their story is the reason the company is going.
Yeah.
And so having that just be a thread within your content marketing is essential. And it causes it to have a different flavor as opposed to people who are just churning out just regular stats by our product and everything. It puts it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And also, especially you said, it is their story. It's how they got
Mhm.
started. A lot of times if they're the founder, but even companies that basically have hired in a CEO
Yeah,
as well,
absolutely.
it's super important to see their vision, where they're going. And then obviously it gets their buy-in to what you're doing as if you're a marketing director of that company. We're mainly speaking to, business owners and marketing directors. If that's the case, then a lot of times you need their buy-in to see what you're doing, how this is actually working, how it's benefiting the company. Because as a business owner, as a CEO, the bottom line matters,
Yeah.
right? And so this is super important on that side. But then also we're going to kind of dive into why it's important for your potential clients, for your audience,
Mhm.
employees, all of that.
Yeah, and I think being able to see the behind the scenes a little bit, like when they actually get to see quotes from the CEO, it just shows there's a person behind there, and so I think that's really being able to understand their leadership style, I think is just really important. And so we're just seeing trends within social media that brands can no longer stay silent on issues that are happening within your culture. And so this is a great point for your CEO to jump in and say, once in a while I'm gonna tune in about workplace culture. I'm gonna tune in about some ethics going forward in our particular industry. It's just a fantastic time to jump in, and you should be doing it right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's why I think in years past, the CEO is, or any of the executives only come in when something's going wrong.
Yes.
We're going to issue a statement, right? We're
Yeah.
going to talk about it, and we're going to apologize, and we're going to move on. But just think of the trust that you build with your clients. If you're consistently in front of the camera, they get to know you, they get to know who you
Mhm.
are, the reason why you have built this thing, and then all of a sudden something happens, you mess up, you make a mistake. That is something that they will have a lot more forgiveness because they've seen you and they know, like, and trust you already,
Yep.
and it obviously means more whenever you're going through an apology or something like that.
Yeah. So kind of going into it when if you're not currently, you don't have your CEO involved in your content marketing strategy, Brian, what are some starting steps and what does that look like to get them involved?
So I think right out of the gate too, I mean, involving them in the actual strategy itself. So
Hmm.
obviously getting their feedback immediately from there, but finding out what it is that you're setting up your goals, right?
Hmm.
So what did they want, right? What do they want out of this, out of your strategy in general? I mean, it's kind of cliche, but it's like, yeah, we want to make money. We got to
Right.
make sure that this
Yeah.
makes money. And there is a differentiation between sales and marketing, right? They work together, but marketing is only going to drive sales. And so you got to be able to set those right expectations, but getting them involved, obviously asking them what they want. And if several CEOs are like, hey, run with it, be creative,
Hmm.
let's see what you can kind of come up with. Others might have very specific ideas of what they want, how they want the company portrayed
Right.
as well. And so that could be part of your branding and what you're already doing. But I think really finding out their levels of expertise.
Mhm.
So we have a client that we work with that has really been able to build this business, has gone through a lot. And so sharing that wisdom of, like, what was it like when you first started this company?
Mhm.
Where do you see it now? How did you get here? What were the goals that you had back then? What were the problems? I mean, people like to hear what were the hiccups along the way. And so being able to get those stories, because stories are going to be selling your company very, very intently, because people pay attention to that, obviously. And so making sure to kind of start in that area to really get their buy-in, but then also show that they can contribute to the marketing of the entire company.
Absolutely. And I think this can look in very different forms of content. This could be getting down and interviewing them through a video. This could be them getting some quote graphics for them. This could be a blog that they contribute to once a month or once a week, whatever you want. It can look in a variety of forms of content, but it's important to meet them where they're at. Typically their role in the company is very different and you want that different flavor. And so getting a space that they're comfortable with, as well as talking to them that's about issues that are directly related to their role, as opposed to let me talk about the newest product offering or something like that. That's not as important to them as the big picture. And that's why you have them at that seat, is to talk about the big picture. And often their time is very valuable. So really getting a lot of bang for your buck is really kind of important.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that's just one of the things that it's kind of a starting place for them. And I think once you start with some content for them, they typically have a lot more ideas of things they want to talk about.
Oh yeah. Well, we talked about it on the show before. We have clients that say, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. We need more content. We need to
Mhm.
get out there. And so we always say, hey, what are the 10 questions that you get asked every single day
Oh, yeah.
nonstop? Oh yeah, we got this one. They want to know how to do this, and customers ask about this. I mean, and then we start there. Your
Mhm.
frequently asked questions. Let's just start rolling out. You have 10 episodes of podcast now that you can go through just with the frequently asked questions. And so it's kind of the same thing with the CEO. When you sit
Mhm.
down with them or an executive, they don't initially, because their brain is not in that mode. But if you say, hey, we're going to be giving value, we're going to be, building our brand around you, that can get their ideas flowing a lot of times. So
Yeah. And I think like one of the core reasons to have your CEO involved is to cast vision um behind the brand's purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting because I think a lot of people don't understand this is the reason that this company exists, or this is the reason that the company is still going.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have to necessarily be the founder. It can be, like you said, a CEO that's been hired on to run the company. But they often have a lot of interesting things. And I even think about conversations that people will have with you, Brian, and everything, and they won't realize some of the core reasons why you did this and started this company were a lot more founded in some deeper reasons than
Yeah.
just that we like content marketing. It's super cool.
Yeah. It's awesome to be able to, we're in the studio. It's just fun to record in the studio, right?
Right. Like one of the things that I get really passionate that I appreciate about like our company's cultural values. Oh goodness. Is the monetization of artists. That's one of the things that I love to talk about is getting really talented artists, graphic designers, and paying them well to do the things that they love.
Yeah.
And so it's cool when you start talking like, oh, I never knew that about that brand. That's one of the core reasons it was around. And it just brings a layer of depth to that those customers will now be loyal more because they understand that story. They understand why they need to be shopping here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously getting kind of in behind the scenes of what your company does and the vision that your CEO is or executive are casting is a big deal. And so I know kind of moving into that next point, right?
Yeah.
Getting into really with and I'm going to use an example of, because I was in the corporate world for 15 years and we had kind of that old school management for a long time. And then the last couple of years I was there, the CEO kind of changed out, but he was a guy that was very active on Instagram. And he showed his family, he showed his life, he showed what it was like working for the company and when they would go out and do volunteer events, but then also kind of just behind the scenes of like, we never really got to see, behind the scenes in the office space, right? It was always like closed door meetings. You don't really know what's going on. And he never gave any like company secrets. He did it in a way it was like, hey, this is what we're talking about today. And this is the way the company is going. And he was much more active on video and doing Zoom calls from his house and like just way more, transparent. And all of a sudden you could see the buy-in of the company. Like everybody just kind of got behind him because before we hadn't really been exposed to that. Like it was always you're terrified of the upper leadership. Like that's your role. You're scared of them. And he allowed to basically, we even interacted on Instagram a few times before he became CEO. So he was already doing this before that actually happened. And so it's just really cool to see. And again, it built a company culture around, hey, we can talk about hard things and we can talk about the business. We don't have to be so timid. And so when you're building out these thought leadership packages that we've done, it's kind of like, hey, let's kind of go behind the scenes a little bit, because that again helps people know, like, and trust you before they do business with you. They want to see that. They want to know who, especially in the millennial buying age that we're at, they want transparency. I want to know that this company is a good company that I'm giving my money to, because that's super important to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we listed off a lot of great reasons, but we want to be able to really
tactical things.
Yeah. I mean, when we're thinking about that, I think one of the biggest factors that we just run into is that a lot of brands know this. They know that it's probably important to talk to their founder or CEO, and they want to, but their CEO is really busy.
Yeah.
And so that can be a huge factor in that. But when you really look at the overall benefit, Brian, like, why should your CEO at the end of the day, hardline, why should they be involved?
Why should they be involved? I'm like pulling up my notes here. I want to make sure. Give me a kick it off for me.
Okay. Well, one of the ones is like the human element, and we're talking about this with this kind of the social trends that your brand needs that human element.
Yeah.
There's a lot of websites. These drive me insane, where you kind of click on this brand, you're going through it and everything, and you don't see one picture of a person.
Yeah.
When you click to contact, you have no visual thing. I don't know who's behind this company. I don't know where they are. I'm so confused. They don't list an address. There's nothing there. And there's a reason for that. But I mean, the problem is that I immediately am more on the defensive side of not really trusting this company.
Yep.
And so when you're really developing content and you're putting a face to that, and that's particularly a CEO who's not just talking about the budget, they're talking about issues that impact their community, all of a sudden it just completely changes your mindset. And so that's one of the biggest reasons that your CEO needs to be involved, is they're showing this is the direction our company is going and this is why you should follow us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I apologize. obviously talked about this before, but I could lost my place.
It's okay. I just
So-
wanted to call you on it.
You're like, hey, buddy, come on now, get it together. No, it is that. And I mean, our big tagline is "Put a face with your brand,"
Yeah.
right? And so that is the biggest thing for us is it creates that human connection. Like you said, all of a sudden you're getting to know them. You're getting to see it's not just the marketing director. It's not just a faceless, company.
Yeah.
It actually is somebody. So a lot of times we will start with the marketing director or somebody who's really educating their audience, looking to get potential clients, that type of thing. And then moving into like, well, hey, let's go deeper and let's get an executive or CEO involved to really show the higher level leadership
Mhm.
of like the vision casting and that type of thing. And so again, there are really two different areas that you're really targeting with that. I mean, you're obviously doing some brand awareness for your company by having those two faces, but you're going to hit a lot of the people who again want to see where this company is going,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And if they want to do business with you or not. And so it's super important to have that transparency now, obviously more than
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah. And I think like the second is that the benefit to your company. And that is learning about your audience. For your CEO who is making big decisions on taking the company, what places they're going, for you to be in touch with your audience and what content resonates with them and what they actually care about can really help you inform your decisions about where you're taking your company.
Yep.
And I love that because it's not just dollar signs that you should be focused on; they're people. And we're seeing that a lot, that people want to be treated as people.
Yep.
I'm not a
Yep.
number in your queue line. Like I'm important. And when we see that leaders are making those connections, and they can make those connections through posts and social media, through blogs and through active conversations about things that matter to these people, that's when there's these deeper connections and those brands resonate. And those are the people that are making higher purchases. I mean, you're
Mhm.
getting those bigger numbers of the inline that you wanted as a CEO in the end,
Mhm.
because people trust you and they know who you are.
Yep. Yep. So Brandon gave another great insights on our Facebook Live
Oh,
page
great.
too. He says people support people, not position or product.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
So, and that's just it. I mean, that's when you go to buy something, you obviously, what is the problem that you're solving, right?
Mhm.
That's what we're looking for problems to be solved. That's why I'm going to hire your company or buy your product. But the second thing is, where's the support on that? I want to make sure I'm being taken care of. And then if you're providing value to me as well, like how to use your product, how to make it easy to use your product, how to do business with you, like that makes it so much easier to be able to trust you as your brand. And I have a face now. And again, when you talk about churn or customer retention, it is very important to have this, because if you're a faceless company, how easy is it to be like, let's cancel that.
Oh,
Let's
absolutely.
just cancel that, because there's no emotional or human connection to your company. It's just a company. And so it is super important that if you have yourself out there, like, hey, it matters to us that you stay with us in your business. Like,
Mhm.
that means something to us because we want to make sure that this relationship is valued. And so it is very interesting to be able to make sure that the person that's in front of the camera is making that connection with your client, because it matters on the retention side as
Yeah.
well.
And I think it used to be a lot harder because I think just the lack of technology that it would had to be.
Yeah.
You had to
Oh
get a
yeah.
production crew, you had to get all this stuff in, and now you can literally just flip your phone and go to town. I mean,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
and really understand and connect with your audience right there. And it doesn't take as much time as it used to. And so, if that's like the big factor, or if you're just, I don't know where to start, that can be just those simple things, just answering those top questions, like you said,
Yeah.
and just taking a little time. It might be just a feature in a blog once a month. It's just dip your toe in the waters and you'll just see the success that it has.
Well, we talk about this a lot too on one of our episodes about recording videos and where to start, or even with podcasting. It is just so easy now to do that, to
Yeah.
just turn on the camera. And then also, people want that for authenticity. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be highly production. Like, actually, people lose trust whenever it's so polished that it doesn't feel relatable, right? It
Yeah.
feels like you're covering up stuff. And that's what's nice, is a transparency, going live, or just even doing stories or whatever, showing behind the scenes, giving some value through that, of just like, hey, I'm a real person and you can buy from me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that is so important.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Got it.
Was that it?
That's
Yeah,
it.
I can
It's
ramble all
hard
day. here.
hitting, but it's good.
Yeah. So let's give you guys some actionable steps though. Get involved obviously with your CEO, your executive. Say, hey, I think we really need to start putting you out front.
Mhm.
I think that would help our current clients build some trust into our brand, as well as potential clients. Start diving into their knowledge. I mean, they're in their position for a reason, right? We've all had bad bosses or whatever, and I'm a bad boss a lot of times too. And so Lauren will tell you that she's got the eye roll. You guys can't see that on audio. You probably heard that eye roll in the
He's
audio.
not a bad boss. He's eccentric.
I'm not fishing here, okay? But I will say it is that where they are still in their position for a reason, and so they have a lot of wisdom to give. What?
That's my favorite. I'm not a bad boss. I have a lot of wisdom to give.
I didn't mean it like that. It's just I was just saying, like, it is one of those things. I mean, hey,
I'm in this position for a reason, Lauren.
we're talking about villains this morning. Like, even villains have wisdom, okay?
Yes, they are in that position for a reason. So sorry, Brian.
But like tap into that, because I think that will be good for employees. It'll probably be good for culture for them to hear, as well. And honestly, I mean, work with them, because some people are not good on camera. Some people are not good behind the microphone, and that's okay. Get them comfortable to be able to do that. It might just be writing. It might
That's
just
true.
be part of that. They just are a phenomenal writer, or they can even hire a ghostwriter, right? You can get their message out there and their wisdom out of their head. We actually have a whole process for that.
Yeah.
And so actually, if you're interested in doing that and getting your CEOs, executives on camera and in the most, we understand that they are super busy.
Yeah.
So we have a process that is actually just makes it super easy for them to jump on camera, record their call, and then we go back through and actually create the content for you. And so that was one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this, is because it is such, and we were seeing some impact with that, and it's a great offering. And so we're excited to kind of push that out as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even if you don't go with us, if you guys have questions or anything about that to help get that content out there, we're here for you. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Good episode.
It was a good episode.
Make sure that you guys go to rowcreators.club. That will give you all the information that you need right there. Ways to get connected as well on our email list, subscribe to our podcast, as well as get in our Facebook group, our new Facebook group.
Yeah. And if you guys enjoy the podcast, we would love and really appreciate if you would give us a review and tell us what you really like about it. We do use those. Those are really fantastic tools for us.
Yeah, we're actually going to be filming another episode coming up, because we got a lot of inquiries about social selling. We talked about it briefly in the, things you should know for January.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are coming back with like, hey, talk more about this. And that's helpful for us, because we want to do that research for you. And we actually have an expert coming on, 2-time guest. He's going to be back to talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you guys tune in. But until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks. We are going to go through rapid fire, and we're changing up the format.
I'm so excited.
It's going, man. Producer Jacob, are you ready for rapid fire?
Let's do this.
Do you like that name, Producer Jacob? What are we?
You call me whatever you want. You sign my paychecks.
That works.
You're not the bad boss.
I'm not the bad. Technically, I think Lauren does the paycheck, but
It's
that's
true.
okay. All right, Producer Jacob, what do we have for rapid fire? Hold on just a second. I'm so sorry. If you're watching, make sure you answer these rapid fire questions as well in the comments. And I'm anxious to see those. So, all right, Jacob, you ready for rapid fire?
Let's do this. Question number 1. Does cereal taste better in the morning or as a late night snack?
For some reason, cereal tastes really good Saturday mornings, but the rest of the week as a late night snack. Is that appropriate? Is that a good answer?
Sure.
Do you disagree? Ooh, disagree, Lauren.
I just think cereal sucks.
Whoa! Whoa!
That's out of bounds.
Oh, man.
I mean, I eat it. I ate some today. I mean, clearly in the office.
Yeah, but you're eating like super healthy stuff. We're
I
talking. He didn't specify the question.
Mine has like coconut and chia seeds at home.
That's not good anytime. I mean, it is
That's
good.
probably
It's
why
good for you. We're talking like the sugariest of shit. Like, that's it.
Let's say cereal that like 7-year-olds love.
There
Okay.
you go. Okay.
It's okay.
And I Frosted Flakes, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Crunch Berries, Oops All Berries, like all I could.
Oops, all berries.
Have you never had Oops All Berries?
No.
Oh man, it will just tear.
I
up
will
your
say
mouth,
there is
but-
one that what is it? The Reese's Puffs
Oh yeah,
are pretty good. And when
Ooh.
I was pregnant, that was something I really
Ooh, yeah.
liked.
Oh,
And- But still,
we had a
it's
cereal
okay.
binge. Oh man, Lauren, you're not a sweet tooth though, right?
it depends on my mood.
Oh my goodness. So many layers of Lauren we're learning. I just feel so bad for you right now. I just don't know.
I think I'm
what you're
thinner
missing.
for it, so it's okay.
All right, next question.
All right. Question number 2. What does the world need more of?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Oh man, these are good. Well, I mean, wouldn't the Beatles say love? But
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
I mean, you can't finish that statement without saying that. But I'm trying to think of it.
Yeah, you have to, what's your serious deep answer, and then what do you need more of?
Need more vaccines. That's what we need. Are we going there? We can't go political here, but the world needs way more vaccines.
Oh goodness, need more of. There's so many things.
Come on, Lauren. Come on.
Oh, yours
Like,
is seriously just
I'm just gonna go
vaccines.
vaccines. The world needs more podcasters. There you go. I don't know about that.
Lame. Okay. The world needs more.
What is happening? We're gonna have to shut this down.
I'm so sorry. I can't think of something that isn't like super serious.
So Brandon, he's still hanging with us.
Oh, thank
Brandon,
goodness.
appreciate you, man. He says, well, what's the comment we have up there? Brandon says he needs more.
Brandon needs more patience, love, and patience, empathy, and memes in the world.
Memes. Oh, man, we do
Yes.
need more memes in this world. He also said late night in a big cup. A big
In
cup
a
of
big
cereal.
cup.
That I haven't done, but man, that's a good idea. With a big spoon, just like a ladle. Just go to town. All right, Lauren, finish this out. Here, come on now.
What the world needs more of.
Yes.
Okay, well, I can think of two things. One, a better appreciation for teachers because
Oh,
okay, so I'm a
yes.
former licensed teacher, and my
Yeah.
husband's a teacher.
Yep.
So yeah. And then two, easier ways to install a car seat.
They're getting there. They made some advancements, but I was trying.
Dude,
to
we
give
have
a little bit of-
nice car seats and they still are the worst.
Yeah, I mean, when you have 2 kids, 3
I
kids.
mean, unless you're willing to spend like $1,200 on the ones that like twist and like
No,
basically fly your
yeah.
car. I don't.
Yeah, that's why booster seats. We have one left to get into a booster seat. Those things are
It's
way
going to be
easier.
10 years for
I
Jane
know.
to get
She's
those.
still so tiny. She's wearing 12-month clothes and she's 5 years old.
She's not
Oh,
five.
she's almost 5. Okay, a couple months away from 5. Still, that's crazy. All right. Hey, thank you guys so much, and we're out.